What's up, everybody? So today we're going to talk about how to handle losing days because I saw a lot of people blow up accounts. We're also going to talk about how to use other charts as confluences and how to go into the day trading. We have a lot of new people using the amazing QGrid, right? But QGrid right here does get chopped up in sideways action, right? It is not something that I would solely trade off of, and I'm never solely trading off of one single indicator almost ever. So it's important when you're going into the trading day to look at a higher time frame, right? Even if you don't have to keep the 15-minute chart even open, right? But I highly recommend looking at the 15 minutes and looking at, okay, we found support last night, right? Asian session rallied, right? This is the open of London right here, and London rallied up, right? So very, very bullish trajectory going into the trading day. So if we continue to be bullish, what I look at right here, I'll actually just go ahead and rewind it so we can see exactly what's happening here. So going into the trading day, I typically get up around like 8, right? At my computer at about 8 a.m., right? So what am I looking at right now? I'm looking at this gap has not 100% filled here, right? You can see 0.58% to fill. 84% of the gap has filled, right? So that's the first thing I'm looking at. I'm also looking at ES's gap too, because ES gap hasn't filled either, right? So I'm looking at that. I'm looking at, okay, we'll probably fill this gap today, right? And then we could find a lot of resistance here at this level where we have this, this level right here, right? This could be a lot of resistance in this level, right? Not just that, we also have monthly VWAP, and we're overall kind of in this very big downtrend. So I think monthly VWAP definitely will be a point of resistance going into the day. So these are just levels that I can take these levels and kind of mark them out. So I'm thinking that too, if we do pull back, right, where potentially here could we pull back to, right? And so a couple of things I'm looking at right now is like I'm looking at where do we have support, right? So I'm looking at this level right here where we have somewhat support. I'm going to be looking at that 830 open or that 830 candle. And I'm also looking at this VWAP down here, right? If we come back down to VWAP, we could just shoot right back off of it. And this is just stuff that this is just kind of that area that I'm looking at right now. And I think that overall, I think that this level right here is going to end up being a potential support if we come down, and I'm looking to potentially try to capture longs off that level. So that's kind of how I would break down the trading day. So like I'm looking at where potentially are we going to go down to, where potentially are we going to go up to, right? And then figure out how to trade within that range. If I just press play here, we can see how that would have played out. So you can see we never came down to this level, right? And we kind of end up forming more of a support going into open right off this level right now. So this is an important kind of a play, right? And so then you go over to the 5 minutes and you're like, okay, the 8 moving average, at 9:30 open is, held pretty well, right? We didn't even come through it. So next time we come down to it, maybe I might be taking a long off of it, especially if we haven't filled that gap yet on ES. Again, keep in mind ES and NQ are pretty correlated, and so if one hasn't filled the gap yet, but it's close to, it probably is going to. So these are things that I'm looking at. So long story short, nothing about this morning is telling me that I should be looking for shorts, right? And so when unless something fails here, right? Unless I'm looking for that short down to VWAP, right? Overall, I'm very bullish on the day. So when I go down to these lower time frames and these Renko charts here, it's like I'm keeping that in mind. So especially as we go up, right? Until we fill that gap, I'm not looking to take any of these shorts here, right? And once we fill the gap, and ES hasn't filled the gap, right? The other thing to note is that just because ES has to go higher does not mean that NQ will go higher. NQ might just stagnate, which is kind of exactly what we saw. We saw NQ pretty much stagnate until ES filled its gap, and then it finally came down, right? So you got to be careful and chop like this. So first off, yeah, I'm just looking for longs, right? 930 open is down here. 930 open is right here. We have this nice little pullback at 33. Harder to, initiate a trade off of. If you're looking at the 1 minute chart, which is what I like to use in combination with my Rinkos the most, right? First off, like these are things that it's like I can just kind of see them. I don't have to draw them, but it's like we have this upwards channel, right? I could just draw the upwards channel. So we have this upwards channel going on, right? I like to make it so it touches the wicks, all the wicks like that. So we have this upward trajectory channel going on here, right? Like that. And so, what this is telling me is that, okay, we have this nice, like, little bullish upward trajectory where we're going to try to enter long off that 21 moving average. So this pullback right here, I might try to enter long. And if I switch over to QGrid, right, you'll see that pullback right here, right here, pretty much lines up with this level right here, which is the flip on QGrid. So where I'm looking to go long here, QGrid is telling me that now we're bearish. That is a problem, right? I mean, if you're just relying on QGrid to give you the signal, yeah, in chop, it's not going to be as good. We have just this isn't like a nice move, but it is a choppy channel that we're going in an upward trajectory in. The other nice entry would have been that at that 33 that showed up on QGrid, but I don't like the way it looks on the 1 minute. So I would not have taken that signal, even though that was a winning signal, right? If we go back to the Rinko, that trade's a winning trade, right? But it doesn't bounce off the 21 moving average. It's kind of in between the 9 and the 21. It's very close to open, right? I didn't see a reason, unless I missed something. I did not see a reason to be very bullish on that trade. It just wasn't there for me. And so, once you're able to identify a channel that we're in and you're able to see that 21 moving pullback, and we're respecting the 8 moving average, and that pullback also lines up with this the 8 moving average on the 5 minute, right? This ends up being probably the best trade that we had this morning. And if you were just trading off QGrid, you would have missed it. So it's important to use other tools, right? And I use smart money concepts as well, right? So that whole area where I said, like, we'll come up to monthly VWAP, right? This whole order block area, right? That's on the 5 minute, right? And you have the other thing is just like on the 5 minute here, right? It's just, you can see how choppy and ugly it is. On the 5 minute, even these wicks are just nasty. Overall, today's a hard day to trade, right? And the last thing I want to go over here is, like, let's just say you are taking some of these trades today, right? Let's actually go over another thing too, really quick. Like, even if you're trading the 15-minute range breakout on a 1 minute, right, where you mark your 15 minutes here and here, these pink lines, and you're waiting for a candle to close above, then you take it long, you would have lost that trade. You would have lost this trade, right? So a lot of strategies got chopped up today if you just stick to those strategies and don't adjust for the chop, Same thing down here. Like if you could have just taken that, we closed below, people would take it short. And like if you were trading the breakout of the 15-minute range today, you've lost 3 trades in a row right now. If you continue trading. So all that to say, like a lot of strategies don't work in drop days, right? Not all strategies work 100% of the time. You will have losing days. It's how you handle those losing days which will determine your longevity in trading. If you're just trading Q grid and you're trading it to the point where you blow up every single day, right? Or you make $2,000, $3,000, then yes. You know, you have to have a cutoff. My cutoff typically is about $400 on a 50K account. If I go down $400, I'm just done trading. Or if sometimes it's 800, depending on the volatility of the market and how much I have in that account. But you know, long story short, it's 2 losing trades in a row. If I take 2 losing trades in a row right off the back in the morning, I'm done. That's it. I'm done trading those accounts. So that's kind of, you know, live to fight another day type deal, right? And I'm trying on Apex right now. I've had to adjust my settings, right? My stop and take profit a little bit just because of the volatility in the market. But, you know, I typically try to always aim for like 2 to 1. So like, you know, if I'm aiming for, you know, $400 take profit, my stop is 200. If I'm aiming for 800, my stop is $400. And so, you know, you just have to kind of adjust. You know, 20-point stops is tight right now with how the market's wicking. And so these are just things that you have to take into consideration. Also, the fills past couple of days have not been great at all. It's like I feel like sometimes I take a trade and I'm instantly down $300, you know, from the start of the trade. Sometimes it feels like, but that's really it, man. You got to learn how to handle your losers, because you will have losing days. Strategies don't work 100% of the time. If they did, we would all be millionaires, you know? So that's it for this video. Make sure you guys like, subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.